guys, welcome back to Unaccompanied Millennials podcast. I'm Milana,
I'm Morgan.
and today we're going to talk about personality disorders such as sociopathy and psychopathy hiding in the public eye.
We're going to be touching upon social media and the huge impact it has on social behavior.
And things you may have never noticed about your favorite talk show host, as well as a hilarious discussion on the infamous Fyre Festival.
It should be a great time. Just a little disclaimer, we are not trained professionals. We have no degrees in sociology or psychology, and this is only our opinion.
So psychopathy is traditionally a personality disorder as well as sociopathy. So these are characterized by persistent antisocial behaviors, very bold actions, and egotistical traits.
They don't have empathy or remorse. They don't feel bad for the things that they do. Every psychopath is a sociopath, but not every sociopath is a psycho.
So normally sociopaths and psychopaths use people as props and tools. So they use people to gain power, political gain, like different things that they think will help them get to where they need to be. And they actually have no desire to truly be your friend or get to know you or any feelings. They typically learn what they're doing or saying from observing other people. Most sociopaths and psychopaths act a certain way, not feel a certain way. So they take different stereotypes, patterns, relationship expressions and things, and they act like that, but they don't actually feel that way.
So, for example, if a sociopath is at a funeral and they see that everybody else around them is crying and is upset, but they're not feeling that, they will change their behavior in order to mold with the general public around them to kind of manipulate the situation.
Yeah. So for people who like stats, about 4% of the world is a sociopath and about 1% is a psychopath.
Interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. It's rough, but that's what they say. That's about the percentage they say. So millions and millions of people.
Yeah.
So we wanted to touch base on one that's really come into light in media lately in the news, and it's Ellen DeGeneres. She has been known to have a very mean streak in Hollywood, apparently one that all of Hollywood knows about, but has always tried to keep it under loop. But lately it's really come to light.
This is actually funny because I visited LA for the first time ever because my boyfriend Tyler is from LA and we were there visiting his family. He goes to school in Canada. That's how we met. My mom loves Ellen DeGeneres. She loves her so much. She's been watching her show for years and years. So naturally, when we go to Hollywood, she says, you got to go try to see Ellen. You got to go and try to get there. So Tyler's dad works on movie sets and is very prominent in that field. So naturally, I asked Tyler if we would be able to get in to see Ellen at all. So we brought it up to his dad nonchalantly, trying to be cool, in Hollywood for the first time. Don't want to be too starstruck. And his dad actually said that Ellen was probably one of the meanest stars in, I think it's Warner Brothers Studios.
Mm-hmm.
There was a story of a couple of painters that were workers that parked in her spot. They were there for 2 minutes just trying to paint her set or fix her set or something, and she just went off on them, which I was really like, my heart just sank hearing that, because you think of Ellen and you think of this person that wants to help other people and wants to help the world and donate all this stuff to people. Well, we'll get to that later on. But you think that she's out here trying to do some good, but in reality, like, is she just manipulating everybody around her to think that's how she wants to be seen?
I know, it's sad too, because I felt like I always related with her in a few ways because she's very sarcastic and her humor is like, she's funny, but she laughs, but she always kind of keeps it in to kind of like make a joke of someone else, but like in a funny way. And I'm kind of like that. So I've always kind of loved that and related to it. But then when I really started actually paying attention to some of the stuff she's doing, I was like, yikes.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was like, it was pretty cringy. So yeah, we can get into that. So to start off, there is a comedian named Kathy Griffin who has always had this feud with Ellen. And she's actually the one that kind of coined the term that in her book, I believe she said that there is a short, blonde, daytime talk host with a mean streak that everyone knows about in Hollywood. And it was about Ellen, and apparently Ellen called her furious and like ripped her apart for it. So that was the first kind of thing that came out, saying that there was someone who was mean in Hollywood and it was actually Ellen, and people were a bit shocked by it.
Shit, was
And
that
that's just to start it.
Was that?
It was just a few years ago, I think.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I might be wrong on the timeline. I'm not too sure, but so then there's the YouTube celebrity Nikki Tutorials, who is a lifestyle and makeup guru kind of channel, and she was actually on the Ellen Show, and she said in a Dutch interview, because she speaks Dutch, she is Dutch. She said that she was cool and distant, which I thought was pretty ballsy, and I loved it. That she said right on there that she's cool and cold and distant.
So she said that about Ellen?
About Ellen on a Dutch show. I think she
Did
thought
she
that
give
since she was in a
any
different
reason?
country. It was all Dutch, so I couldn't translate more than the cool and distant part, but I don't think she gave much more than that at all. I think she was a little nervous because Ellen is kind of a big deal.
Yeah.
So I think she was a little nervous. Even we're a little nervous doing this. So.
Oh my goodness. Yeah,
But
honestly.
yeah. So she was a little nervous, I think.
Just a
so
side
my
note,
favorite,
guys. At the beginning of this episode, we're like, but what if we want to be on Ellen? And
I think we decided that
it's off the table.
it might be off the table. So, oh well. So the third one is Dakota Johnson. She's the girl from 50 Shades of Grey.
Okay.
Anna? Yeah. So she was on an interview with Ellen, and she said, Ellen said, oh, like your birthday looked like a lot of fun. Like, too bad, like, I wasn't there. Like, I wasn't invited. And then Dakota was like, actually, Ellen, you were invited. Like, clapped right back at her. And then Ellen, like, looked at her and she was like, oh, like, and then apparently, like, she was at a game I think she was in a different state at some sort of sports game, sitting beside George W. Bush, which is one scandal within another scandal, because she lied and tried to get a rise out of Dakota on the show, just to be exposed that she was at a game out of state with George W. Bush, who was a known anti-gay rights and like a bunch of different stuff that she wouldn't normally you think would be friends with. But apparently she then stood up for herself in a few shows later, saying that she is friends with him and that you don't have to be friends with people who only share the same beliefs as you. But then yet she is like dissing Caitlyn Jenner and other people who are in the same community as her because they don't have the same views as her within the same community, but then she is okay to be friends with someone who has outwardly said that they are against gay rights and a bunch of stuff, which is kind of shocking.
Mm-hmm.
So which makes me really believe, which makes me kind of believe that she is all for like the power and like whoever's in the same tax bracket as her, I guess.
That's right. Yeah, because those were really good seats that she was in, you know.
Yeah. So we're not even at like the crazy ones yet. Oh These are just like the start off ones, like the little like ooh, like maybe like kind of cringy, but like the next ones coming up are bad.
Like I remember seeing that one specific episode, and I kind of agreed with Ellen. I'm like, oh yeah, like that awesome, good for her, like looking past it, blah blah blah. But then a few things happened like within the last year, I would say, where I'm not really an Ellen fan anymore. For example, me and my mom were watching one episode, and the actress that played one of the twins in Cheaper by the Dozen, she is a dancer now and is doing really good for herself, I guess. She was on the Ellen Show, and she was the whole episode was about her telling Ellen how she's living the minimalist life, how she sold all of her possessions, and now all of her possessions can fit in her little coupe car, a vehicle with 2 doors, 5 seats. And she was really excited about this. The whole episode's about this. And then at the end of the episode, Ellen proceeds to gift her, this celebrity who obviously needs no help, something like a 56-inch or 62-inch flat screen TV and a Netflix gift card.
So stupid.
I was just like, I haven't been able to let go of this.
No, because that day we hung out and I remember you said to me in the car, oh, by the way, I don't like Ellen anymore. And I was like, why? And then you told me this and you were like, disgusted. I remember how disgusted you were by it.
I
And
really,
even your mom was upset, I think you said, and she
yeah,
loves her.
honestly,
Yeah. Yeah.
it's really sad.
My mom is like your mom, loves Ellen every day at 4. Oh my God, Ellen's on, or 3 or whatever time it is. And now she's like, I don't like her anymore. She always has random guests on, speakers and like celebrities, and you don't even know if she's going to be there or not. And she just has like stopped liking her as
Well,
much as
that's
well.
right. Yeah, that's
hmm
another thing. She had other people hosting her show for a while.
hmm Yeah, it was odd. I love Twitch though.
Yeah.
I love Twitch. Do you like Twitch? The guy who does like the DJ
Yeah.
guy?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's really him and his wife are really cute on TikTok. They're always doing dances.
Aw,
Like, because they were like great dancers, both of them. I think
that's
she's a
awesome.
professional dancer.
Cool.
Yeah. Okay. So that was a good story though. Like I still remember you getting in my car and you were just pissed.
Still rattled.
Still rattled about it. So we're gonna start getting into the more crazier ones. So the first one is Russell Brand when he was on there. So apparently, allegedly, when he went on to the Ellen show, he went into the crew meeting room and wanted to kind of meet the crew, chat with them. I guess he was waiting. He came in a bit early and wanted to relax and chat with them while he waited to go on stage. So then Ellen found this out and went to the crew room to berate him in front of all of her crew, saying, you will have your own special area backstage for the guests. You don't have to communicate with our crew. Like something really sassy like that. Yeah, and he was not impressed. I don't think he's been back on since.
Oh my goodness. That's so
hmm
upsetting. Like, you want your crew to be like, your crew are people. They're not just there to serve you.
I know. And then Katy Perry was on, and she apparently gave Katy Perry a wedding gift in a few years ago when she married Russell Brand, because Katy Perry and Russell Brand were married when Katy Perry was 25. And she gave her gifts and everything right on the show. And she said to her, "Wait, you were married?" And Katy Perry was like, "Yeah, Russell Brand." And she was like, "You gave me gifts on this show," like so taken back by it. Like
Oh
she
my goodness.
forgot that she was married, or she was doing that because she was pissed at Russell Brand,
Right.
right? Like I'm not sure which one it was. Like pretty sure it's more towards the she was mad at Russell Brand part,
Well,
but
that's
that's
right.
pretty savage.
Because I'm pretty sure that her crew would tell her, oh, and just so you know, like, give her kind of a rundown of the people before they come onto the
Yeah,
show.
you think you remember giving her wedding gifts, especially someone like Katy Perry, because she's been
Exactly.
on her show multiple times. Yeah,
hmm
but so it's just getting crazier from here. We haven't even got to the climax, not to the top of the mountain yet.
So, like Kathy Griffin had said, celebs in Hollywood have been trying to warn everybody for years that Ellen is kind of going off the rails. Another example would be one of her interns who had got a writing job with Ellen received another job within the Warner Brothers studio family, and Ellen asked for the Christmas gift back that she had given to this particular individual. And apparently, like, allegedly, she doesn't even give Christmas gifts out anymore except to a select few of her employees who get B&Ws and stuff. It's insane.
It's crazy. It's like if you can't just give some of your employees gifts. If this is true, it's all allegedly, but there's so many people speaking out now where some of it's got to be true. But it's sad. Like you can't treat some employees some way and only know some of your employees' names. Like I get if it was a huge production, but I'm pretty sure there's only a few writers that work for her and she only knows one or two of their names. Like she won't even learn other people's names, apparently.
Exactly.
So
That's so sad.
So one of the cringiest moments I personally think for Ellen was one of the episodes where she set up a table that said, "Please only take one item," and put out mugs, t-shirts, hats, keychains, a bunch of things onto this table. And she set up a little fake hidden camera. And then she waited and I guess got people to watch and wait for someone to take more than one item. So when this lady did take more than one item, she then decided to, during an episode in front of millions of people, then call her out, get her to stand up, tell her that all it took was to be a nice person and she shouldn't have done that, and then made her sit in like a really tall and comfortable high chair off to the side, but like kind of in front of everyone, and called it jail and made her sit there in front of everyone. And then when the girl said, I'm sorry, like my sister really couldn't come and she's a huge fan and I just wanted to get something for her as well, she then said, well, everyone here has a sister who just couldn't come, right in front of everyone. And I get it, but at the same time, like, I don't know if she was trying to be funny, but I just, like, it was a little bit funny, and like people, I think, kind of thought it was lighthearted, but at the same time, like that girl who went through that's like humiliating. Like, it was millions of people watching that. It was quite cringy.
I feel so bad for her, and I find some of the most cringiest things that Ellen says for me is when she has kids on and she's talking to kids, but she's semi-mocking them as she's interviewing them, and she's making fun of them, and like, it can be funny and or cute, but the poor child has no idea what's happening. But they watch it years from now and they're embarrassed and just humiliated. I don't think it's right.
No, I think it's funny in some aspects if you didn't realize that she was doing it without actually caring. Like, I think it brings it to a different light when you realize that there's a lack of actual caring in there. And I think that really came to light for me when the poor little prodigy guitar player boy that didn't speak English was on the show and his translator was with him. And Ellen asked him a question, so the translator translated it. But because it was a difficult language to kind of translate to, the translator was taking a bit longer, like a few more sentences to kind of translate it properly to this little boy. He was also really young, so just to kind of make him understand what she was saying. And she got so frustrated within the first sentence, she literally turned to her and said, okay, it was one question. And then this translator is like young too. She's probably 10, maybe 12.
No.
So she's like, looks at her, like, it's a kid translator too. So the kid looks at her and she's like, I'm sorry. And then kind of says it quicker. And then Ellen goes, see, it wasn't that hard. And then she like looks at her again, and you can tell she's just like so freaking scared because there's millions of people watching on TV and she knows that. So then, and the little boy is so confused. So he answers, but answers in a way that kind of like doesn't answer the question, but it's because of the huge language barrier, and he's 8 or 6 or whatever how old he is. So then she says, yeah, you know that, we don't know that, or whatever. And she's kind of laughing, and like at first she's like, okay, it's kind of funny, maybe, and you're kind of confused because it is kind of funny, but at the same time you're like, oh, I don't know. And then she starts to say the question again, and then she gets so frustrated and fed up with them going back and forth a bit, the translator and the little kid, that she says, never mind, I'm over it, pretty much. Like, oh my God. Right in front of everyone, she's like, never mind, I'm done, kind of thing. And like looks at them like, actually done. And like kind of like does this like really evil like laugh smile. And I was like, oh my God, they're children. Like, there's difference between being funny and like having that sarcastic kind of funny humor, which is fine. Like, I'm kind of like that too. And then there's a difference just being plain old impatient and rude.
Yeah, and humiliating people on,
like, you gotta understand your power and your influence.
Yeah, like she'll never translate for anybody again, probably. Like
not in public, at least. Probably not. No, I know. She was probably so embarrassed and so sad after that.
It's so insane. It's because nobody would know any of this if it wasn't for video and social media and all of that. Like, you can't hide from anything
anymore. No, for sure. And then I don't even think that's the worst one. I think the absolute worst one is Mariah Carey, what she did to Mariah Carey. So on one episode, Mariah came out and Ellen was like, so there's rumors that you're pregnant. And Mariah's like, oh, like, let's not talk about that. And Ellen's like, oh, well, you can't hide it. There's rumors. And then she's like, okay, no, like, let's not talk about it. And Ellen's like, okay, well, let's drink champagne, because if you aren't pregnant, you can drink. And bring champagne out. And she's staring at her like, are you serious? So then she's like, okay, I can't drink that. I'm pregnant. What are you supposed to say, right?
Oh my gosh.
2 weeks later, there's a reason why she wasn't telling anyone. It's because she wasn't even at 12 weeks yet, and she had a miscarriage.
No.
And tell the whole world that she had a miscarriage, because when you're that famous and people know you're pregnant, they're so excited, and then you have to tell them that you just had a miscarriage. If Ellen would have given her those few extra weeks, she wouldn't have had to tell anyone anything.
Did Ellen apologize?
No, I don't think so. I haven't seen an apology. From what I researched, I couldn't find an apology.
Oh my
Yeah,
God,
definitely the worst one.
that's
My
horrible.
opinion. I'm sure there's more that I didn't even realize, but like that one was pretty brutal. So just poor Mariah Carey trying to have the ability to tell everyone on her own terms, which is every woman's right to be able to say that when they're ready, especially with the amount of risk there is having a miscarriage in the first trimester. That's why people don't tell anyone in the first trimester. And then Ellen has to on national television in front of millions of people when she's already a famous star say that, which she knows is going to cause attention to it. Just for her ratings, I'm assuming she was doing that. And maybe she didn't mean it badly, but at the same time, you have to know not to do that. As a talk show host, you think you'd
Well,
know, and a woman, but I don't know.
I've seen her push people for answers a million times. I couldn't tell you
Mm-hmm.
specifics, but I
Mm-hmm.
remember sitting there being uncomfortable watching her show with my mom
Mm-hmm.
because she's pushing for the answers she wants, the person to say it on her couch for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Which I get. Your show and you're trying to be the first person to hear things and stuff. And with light things like dating and are you dating this person, blah, blah, it's not like that big of a deal. It's funny at that point. But when it comes to something like that, that was a low blow.
That's
It's,
right.
yeah. So thank God for Twitter and platforms like that where people are actually able to speak their minds and say, hey, like I worked there or my friend worked there and this happened. And to kind of bring light to the fact of how horrible she treats her employees allegedly. And it's nice to see that there's the ability for people to now do that and have direct conversations and kind of pinpoint certain things that have happened to them right on social media for people to hear, which is good, I think.
That's right. And it's pretty bad when editing can't hide the fact that you're kind of a psychopath on your own show.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
and Twitter and social media and YouTube and stuff gives people the ability to see it and comment on it and analyze it. So
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. Social media, like, do you think that it creates sociopaths and psychopaths, or do you think it gives them the environment they need, or do you think it doesn't relate at all?
I think that it kind of creates its own little type of psychopath or sociopath because there
Mm-hmm.
were psychopaths and sociopaths way before social media, but
Mm-hmm.
I think social media has created its own little monster.
I
So
think it's created like elevated levels of egotism and like being self-centered, attention, ADHD, things like that for sure.
exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Elevated and just different in general.
Mm-hmm.
Because back in the day, what a psychopath would, I don't know, try to get the attention at school and all of that stuff. But
Now it's a million viewer platform, billion people platform.
Luke Magnotta is a good example of that, of the new type of psychopath, the one that's just craving some sort of attention, and it doesn't matter negative or positive attention. He created his own, in quotes, modeling career. He created rumors about himself dating Carla Homolka, and then he made these videos of him killing cats and puppies and people, put them
Mm-hmm.
on the internet for that attention. That's
Yeah.
just insane. And I think we're going to see a lot more of that, especially with copycats and stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
social media is to blame.
Yeah. Do you think social media to blame for that, or do you think it gave him like the platform to be able to make it worse than it would have been without social media? Like, I think he still would have done things like that without social media. He probably would have just done it through mail,
Yes,
so or something crazy like
mail
that, or like
or
emailing poor children and people, things like that. I just think it probably gave him like a worse outcome because it affected more people through social media. What do you think?
right. I think that's very fair for sure.
Yeah. Because another example, like probably 10 out of a 10 psychopath would be Ted Bundy. Have you watched the movie?
Yes, and the
Yeah.
and the
In the
documentary.
documentary, me too. Yeah.
Love
He's
it.
like a 10 out of 10
Yes, because he knew
psychopath.
how to manipulate women specifically,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and it helped him that he was good looking, and
Mm-hmm.
he knew that. So
And he was a lawyer, wasn't he?
he was studying to be a lawyer,
Or he was, yeah, in law school. Okay.
and that's why
Yeah.
he
Which is
thought it
crazy
was
because
so
he was
smart
extremely intelligent. And that's the scary part.
that they're smart.
He was so intelligent that he was able to learn how to act and do things that people don't associate with sociopaths and psychopaths, and things to be nervous around, like a law student. They're like, oh, he's a law student. Like, you can trust them, you can look up to them, they're knowledgeable. But and maybe he was knowledgeable and stuff, but he definitely definitely couldn't look up to him or trust him.
Oh
And those
yeah.
poor girls found that out very, very quickly. Yeah, my opinion is that I don't think social media creates sociopaths or psychopaths. I think it creates personality disorders and people. I think it creates faux confidence and like egotistic behavior because there's so much ability to seek attention. But I think that it was already there inside. It was just a platform for them to be able to actually show their kind of chores.
That's an interesting way to look at it for sure. Because yeah, like you said, there was psychopaths before, and they always found ways to get their attention or to get their whatever they needed.
Yeah, like I'm pretty sure there was that one guy who sent body parts in the mail
That was
back
Luca,
in the
that
day.
was Luca Magnotta.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, same guy.
Oh, in the mail.
He sent, yeah, he also sent the body parts of the guy that he killed to the government offices.
Yeah, okay, that I
Have
didn't
you
know his name. I
seen,
didn't know.
have you seen the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats?
I won't watch it because I have a cat.
Yo, you need to watch it. You don't see anything.
I
Everybody
still can't.
please go watch the documentary Don't Fuck with Cats. Even if you love cats, I love puppies.
No,
No, I promise you, like it's such an
I can
interesting.
watch.
No, it's so interesting because he uses all this social media and stuff to create himself up, but then it's social media and everything around him that takes him down. These two people because he was from Canada, they are from the States.
He was not Canadian.
Yes, he was.
Oh, that's just embarrassing.
I know. But these two random people, one from Vegas, one from Washington, I think. I made that up. Don't quote me, people. But they work together over Facebook to catch him. They figure it out.
Thank God for them.
Honestly, but if the cops in, I think it was Toronto, would have listened to them in the first place, it would have stopped him from killing the one person that they did kill. If they would have listened to the two individuals that were hunting him over the internet to try to stop him, because they seen him escalating. They seen him starting with the kittens and moving up, getting more escalated, and he was taunting them. I think I'm convinced that he was doing it because he knew that he was being hunted. He escalated because he knew that he had people watching him.
He enjoyed it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he made up this huge story about how there was a guy abusing him and holding him captive and making him do all this stuff. You need to watch it. You need to watch it.
Oh, I don't know. It's the cat. I'm like animals in general. I watch every murder documentary, all that stuff, like the trial of Gabrielle Fernandez, the other one with the athlete making murder, all that. I can watch all that stuff all day. Criminal Minds, love it. But as soon as it's animals, I don't have the heart for it.
Did you watch Blackfish or whatever?
Yeah, and that ruined me.
Okay, that is 10 times worse than the cat one.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Watching them get separated from their parents, like the orcas, and how they try to like deceive the helicopters and the planes and stuff, and like the captors, and they would go in these formations and they would just cry when their babies were taken. It will ruin me. If anyone hasn't seen Blackfish, what are you doing?
Recommend it.
Well, I don't recommend it, but at the same time, if you actually want to learn something that's heartbreaking and true, then I would recommend to watch it. If you want to understand what's going on in the world, the cruel world we live in.
Yeah.
But on a lighter, funnier note, but also terrible, let's dive into the Fyre Festival.
Okay.
Which is, I watched it twice, the documentary. I watched it once with friends, and I watched it the other time by myself because I wanted to get like my own opinion.
We watched it together. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So awkward.
That was my only time watching it.
Oh, that's really awkward.
We were intoxicated, so.
Oh, probably. Yeah. So I watched it again by myself just so I could like fully dive into it, just because I wanted to really understand what happened, and I still don't understand how these two got away with it, but it's fine. So if anyone hasn't seen the Fyre Festival, this is a spoiler to the documentary on Netflix. So we'll give you the time down below to skip to it. The Fyre Festival was created by Billy McFarland and the rapper Ja Rule. So Billy McFarland was an entrepreneur. He created this millennial master Visa card weird thing called Magnesium or McNeese or something like that. But he literally spelt it wrong. He spelled it with IS, and it was supposed to be like ESE or something like that. Anyways, he spelled it wrong, which kind of was a laughing joke for that. But he was known as this great entrepreneur, this millennial entrepreneur. But
Okay.
basically, his whole entire foundation was getting investors to invest in him because he gave them false numbers. So he told them all these numbers he was creating in revenue for things and all this stuff, but he actually wasn't. He was just covering he was showing what other investors were giving him as revenue when they're actually just investments and stuff. So he was all a fraud.
Holy shit.
So yeah, so him and his friend rapper Ja Rule, they decided to make this app called Fyre, which was an app dedicated to promoting companies for booking music talent and stuff like that. If you wanted a model or a singer at your birthday party and you wanted to pay a certain amount of money, you go on this app and you literally book them to be at your birthday party, or concert or festival or wedding or whatever you wanted. So it was a great idea for an app, actually. I'm kind of sad that this festival gave it such bad light, but they decided to make a festival to promote it. And it just went completely downhill from there.
So before we go any further, would you compare this to Woodstock or not at all?
Well, Woodstock happened. Woodstock, even though people
But
were starving, there was no water, there was garbage everywhere, and it was like a shit show, and people don't think about that part and like just talk about how great the music was because the Cranberries and like different things were there, great musicians. It was a shit event. People were outside with no place to go in the heat, no water, anything, living in little garbage for days just to see their favorite musicians.
my parents watched that documentary, and
Mm-hmm.
one part that actually brought tears to my eyes was when the whole community, because the cars were backed up all throughout the streets, people couldn't find parking, so they just parked in the streets. The residents of that town, Woodstock, brought whatever they could out of their cupboards and made food for the people that were there to see the concerts. But I kind of thought that the Fyre Festival was kind of like that because people showed up, like a lot of
but
people.
it never happened.
There was no music or anything, or
Not a single concert happened.
but how many people showed up?
Some of the influencers, like a few hundred influencers showed up and like a few people with tickets, but none of the other flights showed up. There was no flights to bring them back, and none of the entertainment showed up. Not one. Okay? And unlike Woodstock, where these nice people that lived there were bringing food and things like that to the people who were watching the concert, who could walk there and leave. Like they weren't deserted on an island with no flights out. They also used impoverished workers on this very small island and made them work for weeks of labor to get this ready, and then never paid them anything and just jumped on their private plane and left and didn't pay them a cent. Like these poor people worked weeks and got paid not a dime. And this one lady who owned a restaurant and cooked all the meals for everyone for the day or two that they were there and had all this food shipped in and like prepped everything for this week-long concert contract thing that she was signed for. They just left and never paid her a dime. So she used all of her savings, this poor lady, and didn't have anything, like didn't get paid a single dime. And she lost like $50,000, she said.
Holy fuck.
In food and stuff like that. And
I
workers
remember seeing
for
that.
her. Yeah. So it
That's
was definitely
horrible.
worse than Woodstock, I
Aw,
think.
sad.
Yeah. So it just gets worse and worse. Some of his employees are in debt with, I think it was American Express and things like that, because he would use their personal cards for things, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of stuff, and then he didn't pay them back, and he just didn't tell them, or he would just kind of use his power over them, and then now they're being investigated by the FBI. Some of his employees.
This 100% goes right back to psychopaths and sociopaths.
Exactly.
That guy that ran this is
faux confidence.
So confident. He's a psychopath. Like, who thinks that they can just use people like that and then get away with it? Is he in jail? Please tell me.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
He's in jail. I think he was sentenced to 6 years in prison. Or he was ordered, and no, I think as well as he was ordered to forfeit $26 million to all of his investors and stuff.
How is he going to get that?
He's not, unless he gets someone to invest.
Yeah. Fuck.
Into it. It's crazy. And then I'm pretty sure there's also a class action lawsuit of $100 million in damages and stuff against him for like defrauding ticket buyers and his employees, not paying wages and stuff. It's just bad.
Jesus.
Yeah. So if we get kind of to the beginning of it, they decided to create this festival. And they got Instagram social media influencers, which kind of goes into the part of having power and social media and what it creates, because he was using these social media influencers, which is brilliant, to post pictures of the Fyre Festival before it started to really get people's attention as this mysterious island getaway festival. It was like the new thing on Pablo Escobar's island, all this kind of stuff, really to drive people in. Took these like beautiful ocean view shots and videos of Haley Baldwin, Kendall Jenner. I think Bella Hadid was in it, just quite a few people. And then he paid the money, I believe. And then during the that part, they were getting so much attention that people were buying things immediately, and they had all these packages, like the villa package, the yacht package, all these different packages that didn't exist.
Oh my
They
God.
they hadn't even ordered any of the stuff to make these villas, or they hadn't even asked people for their homes yet to use as private homes, or they hadn't ordered a yacht. Like none of this had even been talked about. They just offered the stuff before they even.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it was bad. So then people start buying tickets right away. So then what does he do? He uses all that money people bought tickets with and villas with and all this stuff to then spend on the event, because he had no money really besides some investors' money. And they told him there's going to be millions, I think it was like $26 million, whatever it was, to throw this festival. He didn't have that.
Stressed.
Yeah,
like,
so he didn't have that money. So he started using all this money that the people paid for stuff to pay for this other stuff. And then it just kept getting more expensive because things kept happening. Like he got kicked off the island. He had to use a different island because he was told, do not call it Pablo Escobar's island. First thing he did, come get away to the Fyre Festival at Pablo Escobar's island. And then the owner's like, no, bye. And then kicked him off. Then he has to find an island with only like a few months, not even. Has no tents, no nothing, no food contracts, no water, no nothing, no toilets, no showers, nothing. It was bad. It was so bad. So
I remember seeing that, like people arriving and just everything being shit.
Arriving and there's no cars or anything to bring them anywhere. They're flagging random strangers down to ask them to bring them to the main part. And then finally, I think a bus showed up and took some of them. And when they finally got to the main part where it was these random FEMA tents, hurricane tents from when all the disasters happened. They brought them to a bar where that poor lady who we talked about earlier had to use her own savings to pay for everything because she was never paid a dime back for any of her contracts.
Oh my fuck.
To feed everyone and give everyone drinks. I think everyone was kind of like having fun, a little bit relaxing. And then when they finally were like, hey, like we'd like to get to our tent, we'd like to freshen up, blah, blah, blah. When can we get to the actual events? They were brought there on the bus and they just were in complete shock when they saw all these white FEMA tents everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it was bad. I think the worst thing that really did it for them when other people started to not show up, and celebrities started to cancel their trips, and entertainers, and like I think it was Simple Plan, and I can't remember who else was supposed to. I think it was Major Lazer.
Oh, there was like big people coming.
A few big people, yeah. They started canceling right on social media. Hey, we don't think that they will support the kind of show we want to provide to you guys. We're out. Just kind of generically saying, never mind, sorry, but being nice about it.
Right.
But I think they knew that it was too good to be true kind of thing, because I'm pretty sure they were offering 2-3 times more than they would have actually been paid to do this. And they were kind of skeptical from the beginning to book these people. So if what I remember correctly, the thing that really ruined them on social media was this guy posted a picture of their lunch that they were given. Like there wasn't any vendors or anything. There was just this one restaurant, and she had no supply. She didn't know what to do. She didn't have enough for everyone.
Yeah, she's doing her best.
She was running out of time. They came a few hours early. She had no idea what to do. There was no proper planning for this. It was a cheese sandwich, white bread and slice of cheese with a piece of lettuce, I'm pretty sure. That was the lunch.
Oh my God.
They knew that as soon as I was posted, it was done.
Yeah, everybody's like, fuck this.
A cheese sandwich. Out. Yeah, they ruined them. So then it just kind of went down from there. His most loyal employee was definitely, I can't remember his name. He was an older guy, super nice. I think he was a head of PR or management or something like that, or organizing. But he ended up being told by this Billy guy, the psychopath, that he had to take one for the team and give the customs guy a blowjob to get the water they needed for the event because they couldn't go on without water. And he said, okay. And like was like really prepared to give him this blowjob.
Like he was ready.
It glitched when you were saying that, and it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. Ready.
Oh my God.
That's what it sounded like.
Like he was ready to take one for the team or give one.
He was, like he said, he was ready. I think he brushed his teeth, popped a mint. He was ready to go. That poor guy.
I wouldn't do that.
He admitted to it right on Netflix. I would never do that. Yeah, he literally was ready to prostitute himself. So props to him.
Good for him.
But I'm just glad that that's all over, and I'm hoping consumers will be a little more aware of random events that come up that are brand new, not to buy the yacht package. Honestly. Or if you're going to, make sure you're 100% sure that this is a real event.
Well, and even just to like compare that to a downscaled things, on Instagram, I seen this advertisement for a little kind of rug hooking set.
Okay.
But it's a new and improved rug hooking. Did you ever do rug hooking as a kid?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Okay, so you get this kind of like it's a sheet of paper with square holes. Okay. And then you get little 2 centimeter long pieces of yarn that are in different colors.
Okay.
And you have to do a certain knot. It's kind of like knitting, except not really. You use this little hook tool to tie the yarn, and then you make your own rug type thing.
Okay.
So I did that as a kid. I never finished my rug because I'm ADHD. And but at the beginning of this quarantine, like probably about 2 weeks ago, so a week into my quarantine, I see this new and improved rug hooking thing, and I'm like, oh, this is fucking great. So I fucking order it, $50.
No, you didn't.
I did. I did. And I'm so excited about it. It was like 5 a.m. or something.
Oh.
And I tagged my sister in it. I'm like, hey, I ordered this. I'm so excited. And she said, probably a scam.
Oh.
And now I'm thinking it's probably a fucking scam. Like,
have you gotten it yet?
No, but I'm hoping it comes. I'm thinking positive.
Remember when we ordered Jay's jerseys for the game we were going to, and I ordered mine, the Pilar and the Martin one, and they came, and then yours just never came?
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know what you're doing wrong, but maybe we should make a whole podcast on how to avoid scams.
Well, fuck, I don't know how to avoid scams. You are going to teach me.
I guess we'll have to learn because you've now successfully been scammed multiple times.
Oh my God. You can't believe everything you see on the internet, people.
Okay, coming from the worst person for it. I don't know. I was just on there at 5 a.m. and I found this new and improved rug hooking equipment.
But you know what? I learned because today
Did you learn?
Well, yeah, because listen, today I took an hour and a half reading on a Canadian site about microphones and headphones and stuff that I need for a proper podcast. And I read all the reviews and then ordered them through a Canadian site. So I think it took me about 5 times of getting scammed to learn.
Okay. That's so funny. Mom, apparently there's this one big scam of like that BarkBox thing. Apparently that's a huge scam too.
What, really?
Like, yeah, when it comes over the border, there's treats and food in it for dogs that can't come across the border, but they don't tell you that and they still let Canadians buy it, hoping that, I'm guessing, they will just not ask for their money back. So they are making some money they shouldn't be because it doesn't actually go across the border. So watch out for that. Yeah, watch out for things that could have food in it or dog food and stuff, because even if they let you purchase it, they know it's not going to be able to go across the border. Mm-hmm. Then you get charged duty fees and things, and you didn't even get it. So awkward. Yeah.
So sad.
Shitty. Very shitty. So what is our biggest takeaway from this? What did you learn? Anything?
Not to believe everything you read on the internet. I learned that Ellen is sadly a sociopath and that she doesn't really care about people.
Mm-hmm. I learned that I don't like daytime TV.
Okay.
I think, at least. And I also learned that, I don't know.
That Luca Magnotta, who mailed the parts, was Canadian.
Yeah, I guess I learned that I should watch that one Netflix special. What is it called again?
Don't fuck with cats.
Don't fuck with cats. Yeah, I guess I'll watch that, even though I really don't want to.
You kind of
I'm
remind
scared.
me of the one girl
I'm
that
scared.
helped find him. Not
Because
the
she
way
didn't
you
want to know, but she was helping.
well, like not the way you look, but the way that like you talk and the way that she approached the situation.
How does she approach it?
Well, she's like, we're gonna get this fucking guy.
Well, that's me. That'd be me with any animal or cat being abused. I'm like, hell fucking no.
Yep.
Everything they did to that cat, I'd want to do to them. I just want to
That's a dark turn, dude.
Seriously
You
though,
put them in a vacuum seal bag and take the air out?
I guess so. Am I a sociopath? I don't know. Oh, okay. So my favorite actual celebrity sociopath thing was Jennifer Lawrence. She was taking a lie detector test, and they were asking her questions, and they said if a subway was coming and there was 30 people in front of the subway or 20 people, whatever, and you could push one person in front of it to save those other people out of that whole group, would you do that? And she was like, yeah, I guess, but I also always kind of think about pushing people in front of the subway like all the time. And the lie detector girl was like, that's true.
That's me.
She's like, I often think about that.
It's hilarious.
And then she was like, oh no, now I was gonna think I'm a sociopath. And then the lie detector girl was just like laughing, but like at the same time being like,
Lawrence. Love her.
yeah, she's a real queen for sure.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I thought that was really funny.
All right, guys, thank you so much for listening to this episode.
If you like what you heard, please smash that 5-star button. So make sure you comment down below to let us know what you liked.
Write a review. Let us know how we did. Podcasts are uploaded every Wednesday, so make sure you subscribe so you never miss an episode. Be kind to one another. Stay safe, healthy, keep social distancing, but stay connected. Bye.
Bye.